It's day 37, and despite a really crazy end to my week, I'm happy with it. We're going to talk about my weight loss and wins and what I've been eating on the carnivore diet. Oh my gosh, you guys, if I look a little haggard, a little worse for the wear in this video, that's because I am. We've been crazy busy since the middle of the week, and we had something terrible happen on Wednesday. We have 2 freezers downstairs that are upright freezers, and the newest freezer that we have is our meat freezer, chock full of meat. Well, as you know, we got a new smoker, and I was planning on smoking some meat this weekend. So Wednesday morning, I sent Dan downstairs to grab a pork butt that we have down there. And when he came back up, he said, I think someone might have left the door open on the freezer. Something's going on, but I have to get to work. So I went down there. We had melting meat. And I didn't hear the freezer running, but the light came on. So I thought, oh no, our meat freezer is going out. There's something wrong with it. And I actually had to take off and go to work also. So Dan came back a little while later from work and checked it again because we thought, well, maybe someone did leave the door open. And sure enough, the freezer was not working. So I had to leave work, and you can imagine the scramble we had trying to get coolers downstairs and get as much meat as we could into the coolers. It wasn't all salvageable. So we had a guy come out from our local appliance store, and he took a look at it, and fortunately he said he could fix it. He needed a part, but he said he could get it running for a few days until the part came in. So thank God he got it running. I had to go through all of the meat that we had put into coolers and decide what was salvageable and what was not. It turns out we lost half a freezer of meat, but fortunately we added something to our homeowner's insurance that would cover lost food if an appliance went out. So we can get some money back for the food that we lost. So now I went ahead and ordered some freezer alarms so that we can be notified by our email or whatever when we've got a problem with one of our freezers, because the other freezer is considerably older than the meat freezer. And if you're interested in what freezer alarm we got, I will link to that in the description. But, it just made for a really hectic middle of the week. And to top that off, yesterday, Friday, was the day that my daughter was moving back to college. So I had that day off of work and took her to college yesterday. It's about 2.5 hours away. And that was a really long day, getting her all moved in, running around and getting the odds and ends that she still needed, and then taking off and coming back home. And when I got home, this is also the weekend that Dan's grandkids come out and do some camping out in one of our groves. So they were here when I got home, and so we have also a grandkid weekend. And not that I don't like it, I love seeing them, but just a series of events that kind of wasn't cool as far as me being completely with it. So now let's talk about my weight loss and wins for the last week and what have I been eating. And just a little note, something crazy happened with something I ate as well, so stay tuned for that. I am happy to report, even with all of the craziness, and my cortisol levels probably going sky high for some of it, I have lost another 2 pounds. So that brings my total now to 17.3 pounds on day 37 of the carnivore diet. That gets me closer to my first 50-pound goal. I want to give a shout out to one of my viewers, Borg Productions. He commented, my last video was my 30-day carnivore diet challenge video, and he made the comment that it was good that I took measurements too, because measurements are more of an accurate measure of your weight loss because of the fluctuations that the scale can have. And I'm really glad that he reminded me of that. He says he does not weigh only like every few months or something, but what he does do is every month or so, he'll take a measurement of his waist. And I don't know, what do you guys think about that? Do you weigh every week, or do you throw the scale out, lock it up somewhere, and only weigh every month or two? I'm wondering if that would be better for me. Either that, or I am going to continue to place no bets on the scale and go by my measurements. So as far as my wins this week, I continue to walk. It gets easier and easier at work. I also did 3 24-hour fasts this week, despite what was going on. And I think that was actually helpful. So 3 days this week, I did 1 meal a day. The other 2 days, I did 2 meals a day. I'm going to try to work into 1 meal a day, 5 days a week, because guess what? The problems that I mentioned before about work, about when I get hungry and when to eat, and time to get in any walking seems to have been solved by my 24-hour fast, my 1 meal a day, because I'm not eating all day long, so it doesn't matter what the schedule is like at work as far as when to eat lunch. And also that frees up my half hour for lunch to do some extra walking. So it's kind of a win-win situation there. And I'm excited to try to work into the 1 meal a day and just having 1 big meal a day. Another thing I would count as a win would be this week, Dan and I have learned a lot of things just by watching YouTube videos. And I'm really excited to share with you some of the things that we have been learning. In my last midweek update, we talked about ghrelin and leptin, and we'll be doing a few more topics like that on the midweek updates, and maybe I will do some extra videos on some of these topics because I know a lot of you are just starting out or are just partially into your journey on the carnivore diet, and I feel like these things would help you as well. So what I've been eating this week. One of the days this week, Dan was talking about how we need to sort of change up when we have ground beef and do some different things with it because it wasn't tasting as good to him. So one of the days I took some ground beef and I made my own taco seasoning so that I could make sure there wasn't anything funky in it. And we did taco meat with just a little bit of cheddar cheese on the top. One of the days I also tried something different. I don't know if you're aware of Hebrew National uncured beef hot dogs, but they are pretty darn clean. They are 2 carbohydrates per hot dog, but I just had 2 in this meal. And then I learned from Dr. Berry that yellow mustard is okay. So I got some organic yellow mustard and put just a little bit of that on the side and dipped the hot dogs in the mustard. And I had some leftover taco meat, hamburger meat with that. And of course on weekends we love to have breakfast for lunch. So you can see here that I had my eggs, I had bacon, and I had butter coffee. If you are triggered by dairy, don't watch this next meal that I made. Now I want to talk to you about a meal that I made that tasted good when we ate it. Not sure if you're aware, but you can make a really good Alfredo sauce that is carnivore with heavy cream butter, Parmesan cheese, and salt. And then I also had been wanting to try this recipe that I saw on Ketogenic Woman to make some mock noodles. I will link to the videos where I got the recipe for the Alfredo sauce and also for the noodles. Very, very easy, both of them very easy to make. Anyway, so in an attempt to beef up, so to speak, our hamburger meals, I put some of these noodles in the bottom of a bowl, put some hamburger on top, and then pelted it with Alfredo sauce. And it did taste pretty good. The noodles, they don't really taste like regular pasta noodles, but they're just kind of a fun addition and something that you can also put in soups. And while it was good going down, the next day, both Dan and I, because we hadn't really been eating dairy, let's just say it wasn't pleasant. It's not like our stomach hurt or we had any other kind of symptoms, but it's a good thing that we were both near a restroom when we needed to be. Not good. Not good at all. Not doing it again. You know, I really wish that I didn't work full time, that I had more time to make videos for you guys because I have so much to share with you. But I will be back on Midweek Motivation this week on Wednesday to share some of what we've learned. Really hope you guys are having an awesome week and try to make someone feel good about themselves this week. Until next time.